Woodlawn week. Woodlawn week. Game week. We've been talking about this movie since last October, maybe even before. It's at least been a year ago. And I remember when they started filming because we were part of that and got to go see some of that. I was there for
Rick. Don't mention our part got cut again. Okay?
Right. Well, I was there the night they had y'all out in the fake rain.
Oh, yeah.
40 degrees in the rain. Caleb Castille's with us. Caleb plays the lead role of Tony Nathan.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Caleb Castille, this story of you becoming the lead in this movie, I mean, I know that we've now switched from John Erwin to Andy Erwin, so this means business John is busy, so we're sending artsy Erwin over.
Artsy Erwin.
Yeah, and what we always talk about, there's always good cop, bad cop. Andy's the guy you can talk into anything. John's the one that tells you no.
Yeah. We don't have the money for it.
Right, but anyway, so the story goes something like this, and if Andy's here later, I'll let him confirm this. You were going to be in the film similar to My Son Blake. Y'all mainly were going to be stunt guys that were going to do all the stunt work to make it look real.
Right.
And Blake had done some work with Game Changers. I know you'd done some stuff too. And then you end up with the lead role, and Blake ends up with a supporting role. And even though you guys had some idea what to do, you didn't really have the resume of some of the guys that were trying to get the role.
Of course.
And matter of fact, the guy who was supposed to play Tony Nathan had a visa problem and couldn't get here. And Andy tells the story that he goes over to Business Brother and says, now what I'm about to say, you're going to think I've gone off into Looneyville, okay? I'm thinking Caleb Castille will just simply play Tony Nathan. Not do the stunts, play the role.
Yeah.
Based on his past movie experience.
Right. Which was what, a few commercials?
Yeah, some commercials. Man, I did a country music video.
Really?
I mean, come on now.
Did you really?
I really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I could see that right now.
What song was that too?
I mean, we'll just I think
down.
we'll just leave that one.
But anyway, but I know what Andy, the artsy side of the brothers, was thinking. If we could get this young man, and then to a lesser importance, but it's a supporting role, we can get these two young men to pull this off. It will look believable. Y'all look like you could be high school football players,
Of course.
as opposed to getting older actors to try to look like high school football
Because
players.
you were just a few years ago.
Yeah, y'all are not that far removed from playing football, and you both have stayed in good shape. And now tell the audience this: you were told in your spirit that this was going to happen.
Yeah, man.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when my agent from Nashville sent, he texted me one like, I can't even remember. It was back in September last year, and he's like, man, I got this story for you. This is your movie, because before that, like I said, I've been doing commercials and different things like that, and
Videos.
Music videos.
What song was that?
David Nail, whatever she's got. Leave it there. All right, so here we go. I get the script from my agent, and at that point, I had been going to school. I'm taking 15 credit hours, whatnot. I'm driving to Nashville, Atlanta every week, trying to chase this dream, man. And then all of a sudden, here comes this script, and I just fell in love with the script. And I'm like, man, this is everything I really been waiting on, because there had been some opportunities before to kind of step into the business, but as a young Christian kid, it's, you want to do two things, really, in my mindset. Is I wanted to honor God, and I wanted to honor my parents. So whatever way I stepped into the business, I wanted, those were the two things I wanted to make sure.
And let's face it, those jobs are not just around every corner that meet that criteria.
Exactly.
And you better do that, because God will get you, but your parents, we know them, they'll get you first.
They'll get you
in the name of God.
Matter of fact, God may
they'll be
get
God's
you,
agents on the ground.
Through them.
Exactly. So here I am, I get this script, I'm like, this is the one, man. And so, like you said, it was so strong, like, in my spirit, that this was the film that, I literally I read the script, I went upstairs to my dad, and you guys know what type of man my dad is. I said, Dad, this is the movie, and I signed the script. I put my name on it and dated it. It was September 28th. I remember like it was yesterday. And I handed it to him, put it up. I said, I'm going to give this to you, and we'll pull it back out when they tell me I got the job. So about a 4-week casting process. At the end of that 4 weeks, I've been being diligent as possible, but I didn't get the call I wanted. So here I am trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm like, man, God, I was really shooting for that one. I thought I was going to get it.
Yeah.
And
little did you know he's about to take somebody's visa and mess it up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's just over there behind the,
What you have to say, that means that Erwin's made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
God had to correct it.
Right.
Yeah.
John Erwin was wrong for one time in his life.
So
here we go. I said, I want any part I can have in this movie because of the story, because it being taking place in Birmingham, and so I go out just to have any type of job, really just to serve, really. I'm like, let me just serve this film any way I can. And so they booked me as Ossie, who they had originally hired his #1 stunt double or whatever. So I was happy with that. I would get a credit, set experience, make some money, so it'd be great. And I look up 3 days before production, Andy Erwin's calling me Halloween morning and like, dude, we can't get Ossie over here. You better wake your butt up. You know what I'm saying? You plan B right now. I'm going to give you every opportunity to win this role. He said,
the lead role.
The lead role. I'm like, I still have the voicemail, like, to this day of Andy giving me directions to, him in John's bat cave. And, he's like, come meet with me. I'm like, I was like, okay, let's do it. Because in that very moment, in my mind, I went back of everything I had done up to that point that would prepare me for that task. As big, as it was, but how I had been rehearsing with the guys for 3 weeks. I knew all the plays. I was basically becoming Tony, just in a different way. And I had been reading that script like I was him, and so when I got into the office, the first thing Andy says is, "Man, you didn't cut your hair," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I thought I was gonna be him."
So you thought this was you didn't know how it was gonna happen, but you just had something confirmation in your spirit that you were gonna get this role, and you didn't know how.
That's it, man.
So you just kept preparing as if it was going to happen. So when it did happen, you were ready.
I was prepared. Yeah, that's all it is, man.
Well, we'll come back. We'll talk more about this incredible story. It opens in theaters this weekend. Friday, it opens everywhere. The Birmingham premiere is sold out every screen.
Sold out, baby.
Multiple showings, over 3,000 tickets. So one theater in Birmingham will show nothing but Woodlawn.
Thank you, Birmingham.
We'll be back, and it's opening all across the country. So we'll talk more with Caleb Castille right after this.
Rick and Bubba.
Woodlawn week, game week. Got a little movie coming out this weekend. Talking to as many as we can that are involved in the movie. Andy Erwin of Erwin Brothers Entertainment now joins us eventually.
I was listening on the way in, and I heard Caleb on the radio, and I was like, I wonder if I'm already supposed to be there. So.
You are some people. You are, and John was supposed to be here.
Yeah, you can't count on John. So
right, and so this is Andy. We call you there's good cop, bad cop. You're the good cop.
I got good cop.
You're the one
the creative.
Well, you're
guy.
the one we go to if we want to do something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Well, I was the one that stood outside this window with a copy of October Baby to the window until you guys let me in. So.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We talked to Caleb at length. How about this? I just got a text. I text my son and said, "Hey, we got some of the guys on. Do you want to call in?" He said, "Please tell Caleb I would love to, but I've actually got an audition right now to get ready for." Nice. So
awesome.
he said, "Tell the guys hi," but we'll talk to him this week. So anyway, you were talking about we've been talking about the movie quite a bit, and we met you guys back at October Baby, and then we had a great promotion for Mom's Night Out,
right.
And we did that, and it was y'all have learned through the process. There's a strategy that is in play here, and you both have said this, and I've seen even the 15-minute presentation, which is fantastic for those of you that got private screenings.
Right.
We got to see that. I hope there's a version of that even in the theaters. No, yes,
Not in the theaters, but it's there's a new telecast that John has put together that's coming out this week through Lifeway, and then eventually it's going to be on TV. And it's a conglomerate of a bunch of the best voices on revival. But that piece you're talking about is in the middle of it. It's great.
It's really fantastic, and to make it really the strategy simplistic, blockbusters are the key.
It is. I mean, it really is. When we finished Mom's Night Out, John locked himself in a closet for about 2 months. Didn't see him. We just slid food under the door, and something was going on there. He's tinkering, and he came out with this presentation, and we all actually teased him about it for a while because he had all these numbers. It was a little bit like Beautiful Mind. I'm like, as your partner, should I be scared right now?
Right. He said, you got nothing to say. You're the one who told me Caleb Castille was going to be Tony Nathan.
Exactly. This
is my payback for that one.
Payback. I got a great idea. So anyway, but both ideas have paid off, and he clipped his Howard Hughes fingernails, and we're good. But the idea was that the key was the blockbuster, and we found out that because of our studies from October Baby being an independent release and Mom's Night Out being a studio release, the power of output deals and how the systems are in place for our films and our message as Christians to go around the world. But to trigger that, you have to be the top percentage of films. And the only way as Christians we can unite and see this happen is you've had two distinct audiences within the Christian audience. You've had message fans that are just about, we don't care if it's entertaining or not, as long as it has a Bible message in the middle of it. And then you have the fans over here that are entertainment fans that we will water down Christianity just enough, but it needs to be entertaining. And I think as a result, we've kept our audiences very small. But the idea is, could we find a film that unites these audiences to where the theme of the movie is bold, a bold presentation of the gospel that's not watered down, and but is intrinsically part of the story in a way that's very entertaining. And a football movie that was a true story gave us every opportunity to do that because of the Jesus movement and everything with this. If you can create enough noise within our audience, then that triggers this little thing called fear of missing out, FOMO. And that allows the broader audience to say, hey, what's going on there with all the Christians? Right. And then they show up. And I think you've been seeing that in slices with what's been going on, with what God's done with War Room. And I think Woodlawn's that next step. And so we're excited to be part of that conversation.
Yeah, and they almost kind of feather into each other nicely, where you talk about the power of prayer and War Room, and now this is about revival.
Talk about a God thing. I mean, when the Kendricks were working on their project and we were working on ours, we didn't know that both of them would have a large African-American base as the story. We didn't know that theirs was on prayer and ours was on revival, and no revival is started without massive amounts of prayer. And so when we heard the what was going on there, we jumped on board there and said, hey, guys, go for it, start this thing off. And that really kind of created that hunger. We trailered on every print of War Room, and we've really been behind it. And Alex came out in support of our film, and now he's pushing our film. This week, they came out. There's a video that's being released there where they're saying, "Hey guys, what you've done for War Room, let's do it in the theaters with Woodlawn." And I think they marry beautifully together. And I think it's overall part of God's overall story that He's telling. And I think that's where it's a God thing when it's not just one person's idea. I think we're all craving revival.
Well, and you tie in some really big name actors that are well known too, and we're sitting here doing the show the other day. We look up and there's the Woodlawn trailer on Fox News.
Yeah,
and we're like, see, this is the kind of
Your old friend Hannity said he had watched it 3 times.
Yeah,
so he loved it,
and had a strong endorsement during some of the SEC games this week, some of the other college games. They've been talking about it on ESPN. They must not know it's about Jesus. But anyway,
boy, they're gonna be surprised.
I'll stay away from that one.
Yeah, but Holly Rowe talking about you being her cameraman and all that. I thought that was fantastic.
Holly she's a real friend, and I told her she's just been very kind to us. So she's got a piece coming out on SportsCenter this week about the history of me and John being cameramen and going to ESPN, and then they gave us that spot on the Georgia game, and just the way it worked out with everything. We knew we were up against the clock. They're about to switch to the telecast, so we didn't know if the interview was going to get squeezed in, and we got squeezed in right before they switched to the Bama coverage. So it was a prime slot, and just what she and Todd Blackledge, who's a strong believer, and then Brad Nessler did for us. It was really cool to see that they believed in the film that much and gave us some really great time.
Well, at the end of the day, it's what you said a minute ago. Even if you don't believe what we believe, it's a fantastic football movie.
Very entertaining.
I mean, and the spending that extra money pays off.
You're going to want to see it 3 times like Hannity.
Right. I mean, it's just because if it's not good, then, you know, especially you start dealing with action scenes and sports movies, that's where they can go to die.
You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you both being
Thank
here.
you, guys.